All right. Welcome back to my first live stream and the first time I posted to YouTube in a while. Um, since I have not really got the content ready that I've been working on, I figured let's do a live stream, a little something for you all. But we're going to talk about just various things. Do have a new little poster behind me. Kind of backwards, but it says educate thyself, kind of the ending to all my videos. Uh, uh, but anyway, let's take a look and see what's in the news today. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Nothing major I can see right off the hand. Trump's pick for science advisor thinking climate change. Uh, better believe in climate change because it's real. Chicken or egg experiment blurs the distinction of before and after. Nothing really to talk about as far as science. There's also history to talk about. So, I mean, what is today? The 20th of August? I can't think of anything right off the top of my head. Let's see. Today in history. Let's see what happened today. August the 20th. 1911, first around the world telegram sent. It's kind of interesting. 1794, Battle of Fallen Timbers, which is part of the American Revolution. 2004, record-setting tow truck parade held in Washington State. During the Civil War, 1862, Horace Greeley's The Prayer of 20 Millions is published. During the Cold War in 1968, Soviet Union intervenes in Czechoslovakia. And let's see, the Menendez brothers in 1989. This was the day they killed their parents. Let's see, trains collide and explode in India in 95. 1940 today, Trotsky assassinated in Mexico. So Leon Trotsky, who had fled the Soviet Union, especially after Stalin's takeover, was assassinated in 1940. The Soviets invaded Czechoslovakia in 1968 today. Viking 1 launched to Mars. And the U.S. deployed to Lebanon in 1982 today. Do, do, do. Top of the hits on the pop charts. Core of Discovery suffers its only death. In 1833, Benjamin Harrison, the former president of the U.S., is born. Huh. Well, the biggest thing seems to be Trotsky assassinated in 1940 in Mexico. And then in 68, the Soviets invade Czechoslovakia. Which, if you don't know, Leon Trotsky was one of the founders of the principles of the Soviet, not of communism itself, which is, of course, Engels and Marx, but of the Soviet Union. Trotsky was one of the main people. Some of his works are very interesting. But yeah, he fled the Soviet Union when Stalin took hold because Stalin was killing off his enemies. And Trotsky just opposed Stalin as a ruler because he didn't really so much follow the rules of communism as he used it, as he bent it to his own wants. So Stalin, not the best of leaders. This, of course, wasn't fully realized at the time. But later on, it would be discovered, yes, he had killed thousands, tens of thousands, including his own political enemies. And it was one of the things that Leon Trotsky had fled to Mexico for. At that point, 1940, yeah, Mexico was through its own revolution, had been through its own revolution, and was now its own unified country. So he thought he would find some help, some defense there in Mexico. But it turned out not so much to be the case. What about some of these others? Let's look at 68. The Soviets invade Czechoslovakia. Or Czechoslovakia. Czechoslovakia. Yeah, pro-Soviet communists seized control of Czechoslovakia's democratic government in 48. Stalin imposed his will on Czechoslovakia's leaders. The country is run as a Stalinist state. until 64 when it gradually tended towards liberalization again. So they tried to go back to democracy and a more free civilization starting in about 64, but in 68 it says 200,000 Warsaw Pact troops and 5,000 tanks invaded to crush what they're calling the Prague Spring, a brief period of liberalization in the communist country. So yeah, some liberalization, some liberal reforms to kind of free the country. That kind of happened. And then Soviet Union was like, enough of it. I'm kind of done here. And so Stalin invaded and took over. But that's kind of what happened today in history. Anyway, I guess I need to go ahead and let you all see the wounds, the scar up my chest. That's how it's healing. And of course, I've got a scar on my arm. It's kind of hard to see, but it does go all the way down to here. I'm trying to show it. There we go. That's a better view. But everything's healing. Still wore out. Still exhausted quite a bit. Even after taking 2 weeks off after I got out of the hospital. So I've just been kind of laying around watching videos. I will try to have you all a video up Wednesday where I've been so wore out I haven't done anything really. So I just decided I'd live stream today. Yeah, there's the aftermath of everything. Wearing my Fallout shirt. Let's see. Give me a second here. Hello. Yeah, all right. Kind of tired, wore out. All right, they picked it up on that side. But yeah. Let's see. So we talked about it was a triple bypass surgery, by the way. That's what I had. Triple bypass heart surgery. We talked about some history that happened today, which reminds me we can go ahead and close that. Free up some of the resources. What are these things? Oh well, who knows? Anyway, I'm just, like I said, streaming a little bit live, and I'll put this up as an archive. I'll go ahead and have them saved to my account, so you can watch this later as well. Let's see what happened today. We talked a little bit about today in history. Today in science. Today in science. Do, do, do. Well, I'll be honest with you, the whole page is kind of crowded. There we go, at the top. Let's see what we have. We have some births. Simon Kerwin Donaldson in 1957, who was a British mathematician. Nakutsu Tetsuzo, born in 1922, died 2007 at 84, who was a Japanese surgeon. Roger Walcott Sperry, 1913 to 1994, neurobiologist. Jerome L. Murray, Kingsley Davis, Valentin Petrovich Glushko, Solomon Bachner, Edward Seuss, Jean Jacob Berzelius. So these are some of the names. August the 20th, deaths. Sir Fred Hoyle, Norris E. Bradbury, George Adamson, Theodore Christian Skinnerla, Percy W. Bridgman, Edward Weston, Herbert Hall Turner, Vilfredo Pareto, Adolf von Baer. Let's see, Carlos Swan Finley, Paul Ehrlich, Julius Edward Hitzig, and Baha ad-Din Muhammad ibn Hussein al-Amili. That's a mouthful. The last one was a Syrian-Iranian theologian, mathematician, and astronomer. Woo! For the religious crackdown, Islam was filled with Geniuses. Okay, events. Voyager 2 in 77. First animals return from their space flight in 1960. The Soviet H-bomb in 53. Television demonstrations, so in 1930. The USS Shenandoah airship launched in 23. Stainless steel was first cast in 1913. Thomas Edison in 1912 received a patent for the phonographic apparatus and for storage battery. And the year before, the first cable message, the first telegram sent around the world. (1897) Sir Ronald Ross made a key breakthrough when he discovered malaria parasites while dissecting a mosquito. And in 1872, William Robinson was issued the first patent for electric train signaling. So that happened today in science. Nothing overly amazing. But that's what we have. That's kind of happened today. Let's see. Yeah, that's about it. Um, Let me see what the news is like today. You know, it's funny. I just watched Philip DeFranco, and I can't remember what they even talked about except for that group that got angry at each other. Let's see what's going on in the world today. No, don't go to Fox News. That's fake stuff. Google News. Crap. Don't want to hear about that moron. Murder and deaths of wife and $2. U.S. firms to Trump don't raise tariffs on Chinese goods. The tariffs were a bad idea to begin with. We know historically they've never, ever, ever worked. I mean, we tried them for years in what, the 17s and 1800s? And at the end of the 1800s, start of the 1900s, we was like, no, no more. They do very little good to help us. They instead just cause problems. And you know what? They were right. But idiot and he is. It doesn't matter if you like him or not. He's not that intelligent. I'll be honest with you. Just a clear assessment of his actions and thoughts show a lack of intelligence in his brain. And like I said, I don't want to get political because I don't like, well, I don't want to take sides on here too much. And don't get me wrong, I'm not a big fan of the corporate Democrats either. Which is why I wanted Bernie. But no, we couldn't have somebody who cared. But enough about politics. My main point is that tariffs, they rarely ever work. It's been shown throughout history. I mean, what you have to do is you have to break up all these monopolies and God, I can't remember what it's called. The one when a certain company owns like 95% of the market. Shoot. A monopoly is just a majority. But we need to break up some of these monopolies and we need to break up some of these companies that own like huge portions, like 95% of a certain market. We need another Teddy Roosevelt. Well, William Howard Taft, even in that aspect. Someone who's willing to break them apart, because Taft actually that's when they own huge portions. But we need William Howard Taft broke up even more monopolies than Teddy Roosevelt did. Little known fact. But yeah, need someone to come in and start busting them up. Need someone willing to raise their taxes, because guess what? America did its best when you tax the rich. This trickle down shit, it's like, sorry for my language. It just annoys me. This trickle down stuff does not work. It's like someone urinating on you and saying that that's trickle down. That's the effect of it. That's how much it works. And yes, I have some knowledge of political science and economics because I did take accounting and I did take political science in college. So I have some knowledge of the two. Anyway, I have a lot more knowledge of history. Uh, but yeah, I do have some knowledge of economics and political science. I need to go back and reread some of the books. Even have a book on, I have a, let's see, as far as economics, I know basic economics and accounting. Because I took them as part of my business administration when I first went to college. I found it kind of boring, so I left that. I came back to college and finished up with a general sciences and transferred to a 4-year institution majoring in history and minoring in um, education. Um, my only downfall was I ended up taking too many classes because I also decided to minor in Japanese and ended up taking some political science classes as well. So I've got a number of political science textbooks and information, a bunch of history information. So many textbooks, it's ridiculous. I've got a lot on the shelf right now, and they're not even half of what I own altogether. Still have a lot more I've got to read through. So much to do. I need to do some more reading. But anyway, I'm kind of tired, kind of hungry. But this was just a kind of a welcome back to say hi after being gone for so long. And I will try to be on, have a video up Wednesday, probably one I'm doing on Woody Guthrie, a folk singer from the 1930s, 40s. And he sung up through the early 50s. He's probably best known for This Land Is Your Land, This Land Is My Land, from California. So yeah, that's what Wednesday's vehicle video will likely be upon, is kind of a life synopsis of Woody, Woody Guthrie. Can't hardly talk sometimes. Anyway, again, educate thyself, read, study, learn. It's always part of the mantra, but I do mean it. Educate thyself. Education, knowledge is so important, especially in today's age when so much bull is passed around. We do need an educated populace. But I guess that's it for now. I'll see you on I'll hopefully have my post up Wednesday. See you all then. Later.